Hello YouTube, I'm back again, and oh my gosh, so much has happened since I did the last video, but not a lot of time has passed. It's 6:53. Gosh, I had to think about what day of the week it was. That's bad. Still Monday evening, August 17th, and so glad I stopped vlogging to answer that last call. I've just been so down about the fact that every time the phone rings, it's some kind of automated sales call or something that feels like a scam artist, and never anybody calling to hire me for any DJ work or karaoke work. And lo and behold, it was a call for that. Oh, I already mentioned that. I did that in the last vlog, didn't I? my short-term memory has so many issues. Oh my lord. Yeah, this is why I'm supposed to be getting disability kits. Anyway, yeah, I did mention that. I covered that. I said I was on my way there. You all came along with me on the ride, right up to where I just magically rolled in front of a place that I've never been to before. So the meeting with the owner and his general manager went absolutely phenomenal. I am not only their new karaoke host, but I am also their audio-video consultant. They are opening that one location next week, so that's exciting. But they also said they're looking at opening 4 more locations across the valley, in kind of premium locations across the valley. I'm like, oh, please tell me you're going into Arcadia. But anyway, yeah, so that went well. Apparently I talked a really good game, better than normal. And yeah, I can pass for normal sometimes, yay. But at least I came highly recommended, and all thanks for that, you know, due to Nick Bohr, aka the Vinyl Record Dude. It's my understanding that the owner's girlfriend, he told me that his girlfriend buys a lot of records from Nick's store, the Vinyl Record Dude in Scottsdale, and also that he approached, I guess he met Nick somewhere and they were talking, and come to find out, like, that's where his girlfriend buys records, and he ended up buying a bunch of, I don't know if he bought records as much as he bought a band and album covers. I think I mentioned this in my last vlog, but anyway, so yeah, I always do better when somebody kind of sets me up and talks highly of me. That way I'm somebody that they're looking forward to meeting, that they've heard great things about, as opposed to somebody that's telling them about, you know, the great things I've done and great things I could potentially do, that they just see as nervous, awkward, and weird, and are skeptical of any of the things that I claim that I've actually done. Speaking of which, side note, just something kind of came into my head. So I have had, I'm sure I mentioned this before, I've had a couple of breakdowns, you know, where my mental health has gotten so bad that I've needed inpatient care. I forget off the top of my head how many times it's happened, but it's been more than a couple. And knock on plastic, that's not going to happen again anytime soon. I certainly had some recent moments where I was nervous that could be on the horizon, but I'm feeling beyond fantastic right now, actually. In spite of something I found out rather fucked up that just happened, but I'll get into that later, or I won't. So the meeting with the bar owners that are getting ready to open more locations just went beyond expectations. Oh, the thing I was just thinking of, which is, I'm sidetracking, and I'm managing to sidetrack in the same way again because I didn't fully sidetrack the first time. That's how my brain goes sometimes. Yeah. So one of the times I was on inpatient medical care and I was getting evaluated, by the so-called mental health experts, the psychiatrists and psychologists and whatnot, who do these paid big money to do mental health evaluations and make conclusions about people's mental health. And to be honest, I was in such a bad mental state. I'm not going to say I didn't need help, because I did. I totally did. And I was in such a bad mental state that I really only vaguely remember the evaluations. And like the day after the evaluations, I only vaguely remember the evaluations. But I did, as my mind started to clear up upon getting in the hospital, which I'm sure had something to do with the medication, but I also think it had a lot to do with the fact that once I got there and realized I could get as much Lipton iced tea as I wanted, I was drinking it like crazy. I want to say drink it like water, but I don't know anybody drinks water. Like, I was drinking Lipton iced tea, and I found that just by ingesting such obscene amounts of caffeine, natural caffeine, that I was getting my mental acuity back. And it was amusing because I was doing it in such a way that these psych techs that were in the hospital were completely unaware that I was doing any form of self-medicating, which is just, things like that just amused the shit out of me. But anyway, as my mental acuity was coming back and I was getting the capacity to evaluate all the documentation that I've been given about my evaluations, there was one that really stood out, and part of the reason for my diagnosis that they gave me on that one was that they said I was showing delusions of grandeur and evidenced by saying that I had met and hung out with Ronnie James Dio, and that Ronnie James Dio was a friend of mine. Obviously, he didn't take the time to try and get a hold of Ronnie James Dio to verify that. Rest in peace, Ronnie James Dio. It might have taken some me. If I was running into Ronnie James Dio now, and if he was still alive in a perfect world, oh my God, wish I could hang out with Ronnie James Dio again. Wish I could see him perform again. I genuinely believe he would remember me. We spent a pretty memorable evening together, and I genuinely left that day feeling like Ronnie James Dio was a friend of mine, and he did seem eager to see me again whenever he was back in Arizona. And yeah, that's not a delusion, man. That happened. I mean, I could go on story after story after story, but I'm not really. This vlog isn't about me name dropping celebrities. I'm really not into that. But although I did that earlier mentioning Bunny Ruggs, but I've had some very personal encounters with John Popper of Blues Traveler. I used to work with a lot of significant radio personalities, including the legendary Steve Goddard. I used to work with Bill Andres. Anybody still remembers him? I used to regularly talk to Chris Ledoux, rest his soul. I kind of felt like I was a friend of his before he became a famous, internationally known country music artist. Before that, he was a local cowboy that played in a bar that I like to go play video games at, and they were cool with letting me, they knew I wouldn't drink. They were cool with me just sitting at the back and watching, sitting at the side of the stage and watching it perform. And then later, when I was a radio personality at KCSP, we played his music, and he used to call me every now and then on the request line and thank me for it. So, yeah, I could go on and on. I interviewed Joan Jett on the phone once. I introduced Commander Cody on stage at a festival concert once before. Things like this happen when you work in broadcasting, and I worked in broadcasting. And even after I stopped working in broadcasting and went into being a cab driver and then owning and operating my own cab company, I had a lot of personal interactions. I still had my connections, my radio connections, and my connections in the music industry, and I had a lot of interactions with a lot of people, a lot of very famous musicians and radio personalities. So if I talk about these things, that doesn't make me having delusions of grandeur. This has been my life. These are the things I've done. These are my experiences. And if I say I used to be somewhat of a local celebrity, that doesn't mean I'm having a delusion of grandeur. That means in several different places, including Phoenix, Arizona, I used to be somewhat of a local celebrity. I don't know how far karaoke host goes as local celebrity, but I can't go anywhere without running into people that know me as a karaoke DJ, because I've been doing that here locally for so long. But I mean, prior to that, people knew me from on the radio. It's like, well, your voice sounds familiar. I'm like, well, do you ever listen to, insert radio station here, depending on whatever town I'm in, Do you ever listen to, KRQU? Do you ever listen to KKZ? Do you ever listen to, did you used to listen to Y95? Did you used to listen to KUKQ? Did you used to listen to KVOC? I could go on and on. I've worked for many radio stations. I'm Dan. Dan the All Night Man? Yeah, that's me. Not a delusion of grandeur if it actually happened. But, I've had that happen more than once on a psychiatric evaluation and told that I had delusions of grandeur. It's things like that. I don't have as much faith in psychiatrists as I would like to, and as maybe I need to. I'm not saying I don't have mental health issues. I definitely have mental health issues. But anyway, where was I going with this? I totally got sidetracked about the whole Dio on my Dio thing on my psychiatric evaluation. Of course, the reason Dio was top of mind is when that particular incident happened. It was not long after I'd spent the evening hanging out with Ronnie James Dio. Like, that was a pretty fresh memory. And he was still alive at the time, so that's kind of a factor too. I am not getting off of McKellips. I don't know why I'm getting over here. Trying to remember what I was talking about. Oh, so anyway, I guess so I know I tend to present, especially if I'm nervous, I tend to present it, pretty awkward to people I don't know, and so when I'll say things that I've done, as a DJ, and things I'm capable of as a DJ and as a singer and as a sound guy and as a tech, a lot of people are just doubtful of that, and it just sounds like I'm making shit up. And I worry that sometimes maybe I overwhelm people by just coming off as just not believable. Anyway, obviously, the Vinyl Record Dude is a real person, and he's really a friend of mine, good friend of mine, and they had enough time together, enough interaction that, that when I was talked about, he said things about me, and it came off as credible. So when I said these things and was talking about, what I do and whatnot, like, it was believed, and they, instead of looking at me as somebody who was nervous and weird, trying to get a job that they don't, the skeptical that I'm qualified for it. Oh wow, the sun looks amazing, and my camera is not doing it justice. It looks like a giant, I don't even know how to describe it. Oh man, I wish I had a better camera right now. This camera could only pick up what my eyes are seeing of the sun on the edge of the rocks there. That looks so cool. Wow, just wow. Well, that was distracting. Anyway, 100% sidetracked by the flippin' setting sun. So that's the coolest thing about ADD. I've never been diagnosed with ADD, but I certainly have the tendencies. Anyway, this meeting with our owner and the bar manager of this bar that's getting ready to open, that I'm getting ready to start at. And they're getting ready to open more locations. I don't think I've ever interviewed for a position where I went in really not expecting much with so much potential. I mean, they're like, we can keep you working all week long. We can have you at one location one day, next location the next location the next, so on and so forth. I'm just like, wow. And then when you started talking about, audio video stuff and audio video consulting, and like, oh yeah, definitely. And apparently I said enough of the right things, and just talking about what I do, like, came off as just very knowledgeable, and then things I've done at other locations in the past that I came off as knowledgeable enough that they're like, you know what? Can you be in tomorrow? And so I start work tomorrow, not hosting karaoke, but in the capacity of an audio video consultant. Their installers are going to be there tomorrow, and the owners of the bar want me to basically meet with them, have some oversight over them. Not like I'm going to be their boss in any shape or form. Not really a boss kind of person anyway. But just basically overlook what they're putting in and what their system is, what they're installing, and then they've explained to me what they wish to do with their bar in terms of entertainment, and then get back with them and give them my evaluation of it, and if there's anything that I think that they may have left out that they might need for what they're trying to put together. And I very much believe I'm qualified to do a fabulous job of that. This is the kind of work I'm looking for. And this is why I'm not applying to get that signing bonus as a shift manager at McDonald's or Taco Bell. This is why I'm not applying to work at Target. Not to slight anybody that works in any of those places, but I have some unique skills and some unique knowledge that I feel a whole lot better if I'm applying it, as opposed to doing a job that presumably anybody could be hired off the street and trained to do. So yeah, start tomorrow. Working on their sound system. I'm very excited about it. I'm gonna try it, anyway, I'm very excited about that. First karaoke show is going to be on Tuesday, the 31st. In fact, that was another thing, we just had such a great conversation. Like, they were initially hoping to do karaoke on Tuesdays. I'm a lot more knowledgeable of the karaoke scene than they are, and the history of the karaoke scene, and especially in that area in North Scottsdale. Not that I spend a lot of time in North Scottsdale, but I know somewhat what's up with karaoke in North Scottsdale. And the top karaoke spot in North Scottsdale for, oh gosh, probably 25 plus years has been Ernie's. I mean, people who are into karaoke in North Scottsdale, like, that's the first thing they say is Ernie's. I mean, my niece, who I recently lost, that's the last place I was with her. That's the last place I saw her, was at Ernie's. I took her out to Ernie's. She wanted to do some karaoke with her Uncle Dan, the karaoke man. She enjoys karaoke, but doing it with me is like a whole other thing for her, She was excited to do that, living in Oklahoma and me living here. And she was staying in North Scottsdale, so we went to Ernie's. Ernie's for 25 plus years has been a spot that does karaoke 7 nights a week. Of course, they had to shut down last year when all bars had to shut, Arizona had to shut down last year because of COVID. And they reopened, as soon as and started having karaoke again as soon as the state guidelines allowed it. However, because it's been kind of slow getting things going again, when they restarted, they've canceled their Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday nights. So they're no longer 7 days a week. And I told that to the owners here. I'm like, Wednesday is good, but it's something to keep in mind. And so I told them what I just explained about Ernie's. Now Ernie's is like the dominant karaoke bar in that part of town. Right now, what's going to be your main competitor for karaoke? And the first place people think of, and get this historic, eco-historic karaoke spot in this part of town. right now you have the opportunity to get it going on a night that they're not doing it. So instead of trying to compete with them for Wednesdays, you could be doing Monday and Tuesday, and then the people that are used to going there on Tuesday that are realizing they can't go there can Google and there's this new spot doing karaoke. Oh my God, look, they've got Dan from Gilligan's. Let's go there. They decided to go on that. And I don't really want to talk dollar figures, but he asked me what I was looking at for money, and I always sell. This is where I always sell myself short, but I've had times where I've thrown a number that I feel is selling myself short because I really want to get the gig, and the bar owner looks at me like I was asking for way too much money, and that happened recently with Cat's Place on Indian School. Very glad I didn't get that gig. Elite Karaoke got that gig, and then about 2-3 weeks later, they promptly shut down the bar as the bar owner sold the bar to somebody who wanted to acquire the real estate. So, yeah, kind of dodged the bullet by not getting that. But yeah, when I told her I was looking, the amount of money I was looking for, she looked at me like I was insane. And that's an amount that other karaoke people are telling me is me not asking enough money. But at this point, I want work. I need to work. I need to pay my bills. I need to pay my rent. Anyway, I stated an amount. I said, for me, I kind of have two price points. One based on if I need to bring a PA and run video lines, and one that's based on a place that has everything ready. And you guys look like and this is before we started talking about AV consulting. So you guys are, sound like you're going to have everything in place here ready, where I just connect to a system that's already in place. I said, so in that case, I'm looking for X amount of money. And then he, in a reasonable amount of draft beer, comp draft beer, and he's like, okay. And he just immediately turned around and goes, actually, it's no problem. We'll serve you whatever, dinner special is. And, of course, beer's not a problem. And then offered me $20 more than what I'd asked for. So, wow, that is not what I'm used to. And then they said, that they intend to promote it heavily. I mean, when I did the 44 in Glendale, which is I started that right at the beginning of this year, and I want to say I was there about 4 months. They just didn't promote it for shit, and then basically was trying to blame the poor turnout on me, saying that I wasn't promoting it adequately. And I said from the get-go, I'm not really a promoter. That's not my thing. I mean, I will, but that's, really need y'all to do that as part of promoting an advertising bar, and they absolutely did not. So, they were enthusiastic and was telling me about some of the things they were going to do, and some stuff I don't even understand. It was kind of high tech, and it's like, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. That's great. Said I'll definitely put word of mouth out as well, and I'll do what I can. And I kind of explained that I don't do Facebook, I don't do traditional social media, but I do have a lot of people who love and enjoy my karaoke show that do, and them pushing it is a lot more effective than me creating an account and trying to push it. Instead of looking like some random KJ, like, hey, come to my show, it's friends, just kind of pushing it as, hey, I enjoy going to this show, you'll enjoy going to this show, come to the show with me. So it always seems to be more effective, although it takes a little more time to get happening. Anyway, so that's what's up. Super excited. I'm actually a little relieved. I don't have time to talk about the bad thing I found out about today, but I'm sure I'll be vlogging about it soon. Anyway, I'm almost home. I got to get my eBay orders done. It's about 7:15 now, and the post office closes at 9. Only 3 orders to pack, so I should have no problem getting them packed in time. But anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride, and exciting to have some good news for a change.